So when you hear the words, the Underground Railroad, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's probably an actual train, right? Hiding in secret tunnels. Well, the real story is honestly even cooler and way more clever than that. Let's dig in and figure out the real story.
Yeah, I bet you've pictured it before. A big steam engine chugging along underground, carrying people to freedom. It's a really powerful image. But what if I told you that the whole train thing wasn't about a train at all? It was actually a super secret code.
That's right. The Underground Railroad wasn't a railroad with tracks and engines. It was a secret network of incredibly brave people. And all that train talk, that was their secret language, their code, to help enslaved people escape to freedom without getting caught.
Okay, so let's crack this code. First things first, why on earth would they call it a railroad? Well, it was all about secrecy. They had to talk about their plans right out in the open sometimes, and using code words was the only way to keep everyone safe.
So this railroad wasn't built out of steel and wood. It was built out of people. Brave people, both black and white, who used their own homes, their own barns, their own courage to create secret paths to the north. I mean, they were risking absolutely everything to help people they didn't even know.
So here's a peek at how the code worked. The enslaved people who were escaping, they were called passengers. The safe places where they could hide and rest, maybe get a meal, those were called stations. A great example is the home of a man named Dr. Richard Eales in Quincy, Illinois. And the guides, the incredibly courageous people leading the way, they were the conductors.
And listen to this quote from Harriet Tubman, maybe the most famous conductor of all. She said, "I never ran my train off the track, and I never lost a passenger." Now we know she wasn't driving a real train. What she meant was that every single person she guided on that dangerous journey, she got them safely to the next station. Every single one.
Okay, so having a secret code was one thing, but that was only part of the puzzle. Escaping meant traveling through some really, really tough places. And one of the biggest challenges of all was crossing giant rivers. Just try to imagine it for a second. It's the middle of the night, it's pitch black, and you have to cross a huge, powerful river. There's no bridge, and you know people are out there looking for you. This was a real and terrifying part of the journey for so many passengers.
So why were these rivers such a big deal? Well, a lot of the time, a river was the actual border between a slave state and a free state. So on one side, say in Missouri, people were not free. But if you could just get to the other side, to a state like Illinois, you were free. That river was the line between two completely different worlds. And we're not talking about small streams. The Mississippi River, for instance, which separates Missouri from Illinois, was like a giant wall. Getting across it was one of the most dangerous parts of the entire journey. This was where you needed a conductor more than ever.
Which brings us to the conductors themselves, the real people who organized these escapes and made these river crossings happen. So who were these amazing people?
Now, this is so important to understand. While lots of different people helped, the network was mainly run by free Black Americans. And you have to think about the risk they were taking. For them, getting caught wasn't just a possibility of jail time. It could mean being killed or even sold back into slavery themselves. The stakes could not have been higher. Let's talk about one of these heroes, Mary Meacham. Her story is just incredible. She was actually born into slavery in Kentucky. Her husband, John, was able to purchase her freedom, and together they settled in St. Louis, Missouri, right on the edge of that river. Mary's entire life was about fighting for freedom. After becoming free herself, she and her husband started a secret school for Black children on a steamboat because Missouri had made it illegal for them to get an education. And even after her husband died, she kept going. She turned their home into a station, a safe house right there on the banks of the Mississippi.
And then, in 1855, Mary Meacham was arrested. And why? She was caught in the act of helping 9 people, 9 passengers, escape across the Mississippi River to freedom in Illinois. 9 lives she was trying to save that night.
And their work wasn't just about escape routes. The Meachams also used their own money, which they earned from John's carpentry business, to legally buy the freedom of 20 other enslaved people. They literally used every single resource they had, their home, their boat, their money, to help.
So, you see, the Underground Railroad wasn't some big official organization with a president and a headquarters. It was thousands of small, secret, unbelievably brave acts. It was people like Mary Meacham, Dr. Eales, and Harriet Tubman, all working in their own communities, creating this massive, hidden web of freedom. And when you really think about it, it leaves you with this one big question. The people of the Underground Railroad risked everything: their lives,
their homes, their own freedom, all to help strangers. It really makes you wonder, what does it take to have that kind of courage?